Thank you, Cody. All right. Well, it looks like the time for me to start has arrived. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Chris, would you open us in a word of prayer? Amen. All right. Well, I'm going to start by calling up my two volunteers right here, Cody and Malachi. And then Stephanie, will you come up as well? No? You don't want to? Okay. All right. Then we'll run with two. I'm going to have you guys pick. I have 4 items here on the table. I have a football, a screwdriver, a model car, and some candy. I'm going to have each of these guys take a pick from those items. Okay. So Cody grabbed the candy, and Malachi grabbed the screwdriver. Cody, why did you pick the candy? Candy is good. And Malachi, why did you choose the screwdriver? Tools are good. All right. Thank you, guys. You each can have one piece of candy, but I'll take the screwdriver back. Okay. All right. So each of them chose the item that they took because of what their heart desires. Everybody picks a treasure based on what they like the most. So somebody who likes woodworking might pick out of a stack of items, they might pick a woodworking tool, where somebody who likes sports might pick a baseball or a football. We cherish and treasure the things that are dearest to our heart. It's not wrong to enjoy the things that are special to us. There's nothing wrong with that. God made us to enjoy the things that He has created, and He put those things around us so that we could enjoy them. But as Christians, we are told by the Bible and by God that we are to have one treasure above everything else, and that treasure is supposed to be God. However, we do have a problem. Can anybody tell me what might be wrong with the words on this piece of paper? Bring them around so everybody can see them. They're written backwards. And what this says, if you read it forwards, is our darkened hearts get things backwards. And they do. Just like this verse up here, Romans 1:21 says, "For although they knew God, they did not honor Him as God or give thanks to Him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened." Excuse me. So we worship the Creator. We should worship the Creator rather than the created. So I am going to have everybody look to your papers and start reading through the first discussion topic, 1A. Give you a few minutes to look over that. Morning. Give everybody about another minute here to wrap up conversations. Okay. Seems like at least the majority of people are finishing up their discussions. So we'll bring everybody back together and kind of run through a few of these questions together, get some group discussion going. So the first question is, what kind of treasures do we lay up for ourselves on earth? What kind of things do our darkened hearts love and serve? Does anybody have any examples of that? Very much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. um, what is wrong with laying up treasures on earth? They can. Here and gone very quickly. Laying up treasures on earth can also distract us from the one treasure that we should be focusing on the most, which is something that is very easy to get caught up in. What does it mean to lay up treasures for yourself in heaven? um, very much. Um, how is laying up treasures on earth instead of treasures in heaven getting things backwards? Kind of already touched on that a little bit, but making sure that we're keeping our focus in the right place, focusing on God and letting Him provide the things that we need rather than focusing on the things that we want and getting ahead of ourselves. Very true. Very true. What does "where your treasure is, there your heart will also be" mean? Why can't we serve two masters? And does anybody have any examples of that? That is correct. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I'm sure we've all had experience with management or with people who are in authority over us at some point in our life, giving us conflicting directions or trying to lead us in two separate ways, and it can become very confusing for us very quickly. And like Mark said, it's very easy if you are working two things, you eventually have to pick one to value more than the other. You can't value them equally all the time. Something is going to win out. And that's the same in our spiritual life. We will either love and serve God most, or we will love and serve things or people or other items more than we serve Him. Because everyone is created a worshiper. That was our purpose of being created, was to worship and serve God. And so we will worship something. It's just a matter of what that's going to end up being. And the 10th commandment, which is what we're covering today, warns us that the heart treasures the creation rather than treasuring God, but that we need to focus and make sure that we are laying up treasures in heaven rather than treasures on earth. So next we're going to do a sword drill. So I'd like everybody to put your Bibles up in the air for me, if you can, without putting everything out of it. We're going to look for Exodus 20:17. All right, and charge. In the back. All right. So can anybody tell me what coveting means? It's a big word. Coveting is wanting something that belongs to someone else very badly. To want something so much that it's the one thing that you think about more than anything else. It's different than just saying, for example, um, I think I'd like a pair of shoes like all of my friends wear. It's more along the lines of, I have to have a pair of shoes like all my friends have. I won't be happy until they get them. I don't want a different kind. I want what they have. You beg your parents for them, pout if you don't get it. Coveting is wanting something so badly that you are willing to sin to get it, if that's what it takes. So, we're going to walk through a few of the different commands, and we're going to talk about how coveting could cause you to commit the sin that goes along with that command. So we'll start with false witness. How could coveting cause you to lie? Does anybody have an example? true. Hmm. That's correct. How could coveting cause you to steal? This one's a pretty easy example. There you go. Um, how could coveting cause you to become unfaithful? It's true. That's a good example. The example that I have going along with our example of the shoes is only playing with kids who have the in shoes, or making fun of people who might not have the shoes that you think are the best. Um, Lying about your parents, saying that they're horrible, awful, and mean because they won't get those things for you. Becoming unfaithful to your parents in that situation. Um, the next one is murder. How could coveting cause you to murder? It's true again. Um, or it's true. Or going back to the root cause of murder, anger. Just because the command says murder doesn't mean that by being angry at somebody you haven't murdered them in your heart. The root cause of that can be just as evil. How could coveting cause you to dishonor your parents or other authorities? Hmm. Talking to them in a disrespectful way, disregarding their advice about something. If they tell you no, you do that, you disregard their advice, you're dishonoring your parents. How could coveting cause you to disrespect the Sabbath? Um, Sitting through church service. Exactly. It's the root cause of that. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. How could coveting cause you to take the name of the Lord in vain? Exactly. How could coveting cause you to worship God inappropriately? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's that's a good one. That's one that is very easy to become guilty of. Um, so go ahead and put up our command here real quick. All 10. Okay. The 10th commandment really ends up being very similar to the first commandment. It reminds us that we should be loving God more than we love anything else in the world, and that we should not be putting anything above God, whether that's a thing or time spent or a relationship. Nothing should be before God. So I'm going to have everybody now go ahead and look at discussion 11B for me. We'll give you a few minutes to discuss amongst yourselves, and then we'll come back together to talk about it. All right. I think we'll start to bring it back together here again. Go through these a little bit as a group, maybe. All right. So, how does this passage show that what we want controls our behavior? It's true. Why does James call us adulterous people? Just carries. Um, why does friendship with the world make us an enemy of God? I am looking at. That's a good thought. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That goes back to the fact that the heart cause of coveting is a lack of contentment and trust that God is giving you what you need rather than what you want. Because at least I know in my life, those things have often been worlds apart from what I wanted and what I needed, and learning to be content with what God is giving you and trusting that He will give you what you need when you need it is very much the antidote, the other side of coveting. Um, if we're obeying the command that God gave us to love your neighbor as yourself, you should be happy when you see others getting things that are good for them rather than just wishing that you could have them for yourself. I have a few flashcards here that kind of explain the process of how coveting works. Starts with step number 1, which is a darkened heart. Because we have darkened and sinful hearts, we desire things or want things too much. Then next, we have the wrong desires. We're not desiring the correct things that we should be wanting, or we're desiring things too strongly. And Satan uses these desires to tempt us and to distract us from where we should be focusing. And then as the desire builds, we dwell on it. We think about it, and we think about it, and you want it more and more and more. And then eventually, surrender the will. Make the decision, I'm going to get it no matter what it takes. I'm going to go get those cool shoes. I'm going to go take that nicer car. I don't care what it takes. I will get it. And we make a plan to go do that. However we decide that we're going to do that, whether that be working every day and not going and serving God, or not taking the time that we should to be worshiping God properly, spending time with Him, whatever that may be, we go and we do it. And then eventually, once you've made the plan, you act. You go do that thing, no matter what it might take to get it. So our next discussion is discussion 11C, and it starts with a situation. It says there's one piece of chocolate cake left. Your mother has said that it's for your brother, and she puts it away in the refrigerator, but you really want the chocolate cake. So as a group, we're going to go through the 6 steps and talk about what each of those steps might be. The first one is written on the paper for you. So then we look, it says selfishness, a